Hello students, this is Mrs. Shweta Ladha from Ferguson College, Pune, your biology teacher. We had started with chapter 3, Inheritance and Variation. We had studied multiple concepts. Last time, if you remember, I had explained you structure of chromosome, types of chromosomes, detailed types of X, the difference between X and Y chromosome, and finally we had started with study of autosomal inheritance. I've already explained you how widow's peak occur. What is widow's peak? It is a character where there is a V-line hair pattern. It is occurring because of homozygous or heterozygous gene because it is a dominant inheritance. It is inherited by a dominant gene present on autosome. Only if a person is having a recessive homozygous gene, then the person shows a straight line inheritance. Today we are going to discuss about more autosomal inheritance patterns. First we'll discuss about rolling tongue, then phenylketonuria. After that I'll proceed with topics such as sex-linked inheritance. In this we will study about color blindness and hemophilia, and finally I'll study about a very important theory, that is chromosomal theory of inheritance. So let us begin with a PowerPoint presentation. Yes students, so today we are going to start with rolling tongue. Rolling tongue person to roll the lateral edges of the tongue upwards in a tube pattern. It is also a dominant trait. Look at the picture. This person can roll his or her tongue, and here he cannot roll the tongue. Okay, this is a trait. It is caused due to an gene, dominant gene present on an autosome. The person who is, suppose we represent the gene RR having rolling tongue in homozygous condition, and in heterozygous condition also, as it is a dominant gene, it can roll the tongue. And the person who cannot roll the tongue can be represented by small r, small r. Here you can see a heterozygote, capital R, small r, so he can roll the tongue because it is a dominant gene. The lady also can roll the tongue because capital R, small r. If they marry, and if we see the 4 cases that children, what type of trait they are getting. The first child who is getting homozygous capital R can roll the tongue. The 2 heterozygotes form, they also can roll the tongue, but only in recessive homozygous condition small r, this child cannot roll the tongue. It is not a disease. It is just a character, a trait. You also can stand in front of a mirror, try to roll your tongue and see whether you can roll your tongue or not roll your tongue. If you can roll your tongue, you might be having capital R gene, or you might be having a heterozygote capital R, small r. You can ask your parents also to roll their tongues, and you can determine your family chart like this. So widow's peak and rolling tongue are exactly similar. Both are occurring because of dominant gene present on autosomes. In widow's peak, capital W, small w, what was the hairline pattern? V-shaped. Small w, what was the hairline pattern? Straight hairline pattern. Here, capital R, small r, heterozygous condition can roll the tongue, small r cannot roll the tongue. So I hope you understood the inheritance of the dominant gene present on the autosome responsible for rolling or not rolling your tongue. Let us proceed with a disease called as phenylketonuria. It is also an autosomal, so the genes are present on autosome, but it is a recessive. Up till now we saw 2 examples of widow's peak and rolling tongue which were dominant in inheritance. Now we are seeing a disease which is present, the genes are present on autosomes, but it is a recessive disorder, and it is caused due to chromosome number, autosome number 12. This example you can also treat it as an example of pleiotropy. Okay, one gene causing many effects. This includes accumulation of phenylalanine amino acid in the body because of the absence of a hepatic enzyme secreted by liver. Which enzyme is not secreted? Phenylalanine hydroxylase is not secreted. This enzyme is not secreted, so there is lot of deposition of phenylalanine in the body. Let us see what happens. Phenotypes include, what are the traits? What happened if this type of phenylalanine deposits in the body? It leads to mental retardation. There is depletion of the melanin pigment. Melanin pigment which is responsible for the color of your skin. tyrosine, neurotransmitter, dopamine, all these levels are depleted and rashes develop on the body, colored spots and seizures, chakkar yene. So these are the different type of phenotypes which are occurring. So see, one gene causing so many effects. That's why I told you, you can take this example also of pleiotropy. But here we are studying it under the autosomal recessive inheritance. Let us see in detail. So it is a mutation on autosome number 12. Now phenylketonuria, it is an autosomal recessive disorder. It occurs because of accumulation of, what is accumulated? Phenylalanine. Where? In the brain. What happens? Results into mental retardation. Let us see. This is a normal person, you and me. We eat proteins in our food, in eggs, in dals, fish, meat, whatever you eat, you get proteins. You also have proteins in your muscles. These proteins are broken down to form different types of amino acids in your body. One of the amino acid is phenylalanine. Please repeat the word after me. It's a difficult word. Phenylalanine. One of the amino acid is phenylalanine, and there are other amino acids which are formed after digestion of proteins. There is an enzyme called as phenylalanine hydroxylase. It is secreted by liver. This digests the phenylalanine amino acid and converts it into tyrosine. This happens in you and me, and then tyrosine will participate in formation of dopamine, or it will melanin pigments and many other things. A person who is having a genetic disorder on autosome number 12, he eats protein in his food, he has protein in his muscle, this protein breaks down to form amino acid, many other amino acids are formed and phenylalanine is also formed. These people, they are deficient of the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. This enzyme is not formed in their body. So if phenylalanine hydroxylase is not formed in the body, this phenylalanine cannot be digested. It cannot be digested and tyrosine cannot be formed. And then there is accumulation of phenylalanine in the body. And when there is lot of accumulation of phenylalanine in the body, tyrosine is not formed, melanin is not formed, proteins are not formed, different types of proteins are not formed, dopamine, a very important neurotransmitter in the brain, is not formed, and the person starts suffering from mental retardation, seizures, rashes, and many other disorders. Thus, it is a autosomal recessive disease. We can study it in the example of pleiotropy also. I hope you have understood phenylketonuria. Which enzyme is absent? Phenylalanine hydroxylase. What is it responsible then if it is absent? It will not digest phenylalanine, not convert it into tyrosine. What will happen then? Decomposition of accumulation, not decomposition, accumulation of phenylalanine. Deposition, I wanted to say, deposition of phenylalanine in the brain, resulting into mental retardation. Now let us start with sex-linked inheritance. Up till now we studied 3 examples of autosomal inheritance: widow's peak, rolling tongue, dominant inheritance, phenylketonuria, recessive inheritance. Now we will discuss about sex-linked inheritance. In sex-linked inheritance, we will first study X-linked genes. In females, 2 X chromosomes are present, isn't it? The allosome, sex chromosomes are 2 X chromosomes. So 2 recessive genes are required for expression of a sex-linked disease. So suppose this is a X chromosome, this is the X chromosome. Suppose there is a gene which is recessive gene which is present on this X chromosome. Recessive gene, okay, and it is present here and it is not present here. A dominant gene is present. Then this female, she will not be the sufferer. She will just act as a carrier. In a female, if she has to be sufferer of a certain disease which is caused due to a recessive gene, should have the recessive gene in homozygous condition. Am I right? I hope you are following. If there is a single dominant gene on the homologous pair, the lady will not be a sufferer. She will just act as a carrier. If one X chromosome carries recessive gene, as in this case, and other carries dominant, this is carrying dominant, this is carrying recessive, the female, she acts as a carrier for the trait. She does not suffer from the trait. I hope you are understanding, students. Recessive gene can express itself only if it is in homozygous condition. She will suffer only if she is having both the genes as recessive genes. Then only she will have that disease. But in males, let us see in males what is happening. In males, it has one X chromosome and one Y chromosome. Suppose this is a gene, recessive gene present on X chromosome, for example, for a disease color blindness. Okay, recessive gene, small, but there is no dominant gene present on the Y chromosome, and therefore 100%, even if the male is having the X chromosome with the recessive gene, he will be sufferer. The X-linked sex genes are expressed phenotypically. I hope you are understanding. खूप simple है. In females, if heterozygous condition, one dominant, one recessive gene, she is a carrier. Homozygous recessive, she is a sufferer. In males, he is a sufferer because only one X chromosome is present. Therefore, X-linked trait occur more in males as compared to females. These genes shows crisscross inheritance. Crisscross, father to daughter and daughter to grandson. Every generation, it will go from, so first suppose father was affecting, then his daughter will be carrier or affected, and daughter, son, grandson will be affected. So crisscross inheritance is shown by X-linked or sex-linked genes. Examples: hemophilia, color blindness, night blindness, myopia, muscular dystrophy, out of which we are going to discuss about hemophilia and color blindness in detail. Okay, let us see first about color blindness. It is X-linked. Now you know it is present on which chromosome? X chromosome. Recessive disease, the gene is recessive in nature, which is responsible for color blindness. Person is unable to distinguish between red and green color. It is not, we are not talking about total color blindness, only the person is not able to distinguish between red color and green color. It appears gray to them. The recessive gene prevents formation of cone cells. Cone cells are not formed, red and green cone, in the retina of the eye. Let us look at the genotype. The genotype of the male, I have taken this from your textbook. Genotype of the male and female individuals can be represented. For a normal male, X chromosome, if it is having a dominant gene, he will be a normal male. Female, if she has both the dominant, she is a normal. Now, if the male has recessive gene, he will be colorblind. Female is having recessive on both the X chromosome, then only she will be colorblind. This is important. Homozygous recessive gene present on the X chromosome female, then only she is colorblind. But in male, even if one X chromosome is having recessive gene, he will be colorblind. Males are never carriers, but females in heterozygote condition, one dominant, one recessive, she acts as a carrier. Learn this chart by heart, and when you are representing it in the exam, always represent capital C means dominant, small c means recessive, normal female capital C, normal male capital C on the X chromosome, colorblind, recessive only on X in males, recessive, it is homozygous condition, both the X will have recessive, and only females are carrier. Let us see crisscross inheritance in color blindness. This also I have taken from your textbook. Suppose a colorblind male, he is marrying a female, normal female, therefore look at the C, both are capital C. Male is colorblind, so see small c I have taken on X. Okay, we'll go slowly, understand it. Gametes formed are X with small c and the Y. Here the gametes formed will be X with capital C, X with capital C. Let us look at the F1 generation offspring. X with capital C and small c, carrier daughter. X with capital C and small c, again a carrier daughter, because it is in heterozygous condition. X with capital C and Y, normal son. X capital C and Y, normal son. So, if a colorblind male is marrying a normal female, daughters are carriers. See, from father to daughters, daughters are becoming carriers, but normal sons are born. Followed? Crisscross. Father to daughters. Though daughters are not sufferers, they are carriers. Now let us see if this carrier daughter, heterozygote condition, XC, small x, X and small c, marries a normal male now. So gametes formed are X with capital C, X with small c. Gametes formed for normal male are X with capital C and Y. Let us see what happens. X with capital C, X with capital C. A normal female, 25%. X with capital C and Y, normal male is born. X with capital C, X with small c, carrier female is born. But look at the last case. X with recessive, small c and Y, a colorblind male is formed. So again see, Daughter was carrier. Who is sufferer? Son is sufferer. Son has become colorblind. So it shows crisscross inheritance. Such type of inheritance can be asked in the exam. They can give you what will happen if a colorblind male marries with a normal female. Show the inheritance pattern. Or show if what happens if a carrier daughter marries a normal male. Or they may show any other thing, like a colorblind male marries a carrier daughter. In that case, females also, there is a chance of becoming colorblind. Crisscross inheritance. I hope you understood. Very, very simple. How crisscross inheritance is shown by recessive sex-linked genes. Let us see further. Now we will talk about hemophilia, which is also similar type of sex-linked recessive inheritance. Hemophilia is also X-linked disorder. What happens in hemophilia? Blood does not clot in hemophilia. The genes for normal clotting are dominant over the recessive gene for hemophilia. Persons having hemophilia is deficient in blood clotting factor 8 and 9 in the blood. They do not have these blood clotting factors, factor 8 and factor 9. So blood does not clot. So even a small minor injury will cause bleeding. So it is termed as a bleeder's disease because blood does not clot because of deficiency of factors 8 and 9. And where is the gene present? On X chromosome. What type of gene is it? It is a recessive gene. So in this case also, females will be sufferers only if it is in homozygous recessive condition, correct? And males will be there sufferer even if one X chromosome has the recessive gene. As the recessive gene is present on the non-homologous part of X chromosome, there is no corresponding gene on Y chromosome to suppress it. Males are sufferers usually and females are carriers. Exactly similar to color blindness. I hope you are following it. Look at this. Females will be sufferer only if they are having homozygous. It should be homozygous recessive gene. Look at this picture. This is a normal blood vessel. Suppose there is a cut, injury, hemorrhage occurs and normal healthy person clotting will occur within like 2 to 8 minutes, different in different people. But now a person who is hemophilic, normal blood vessel, if there is a cut, if there is an injury, hemorrhage will occur, blood will flow and they are not able to form clot because which factors are absent? 8 and 9. Why is it happening? They are having a recessive gene on X chromosome. Okay. Let us see. Hemophilia is also termed as royal disease. Why it is called as royal disease? Because it affected the royal families of England, Germany, Russia and Spain in the 19th and 20th century. Queen Victoria of England, who ruled from 1837 to 1901, was believed to be a carrier. And so she passed the trait to 3 of her 9 children. She had 9 children and her 3 children were carriers. And therefore, now these were married in different royal families of Germany, Russia, Spain. And this disease then spread in all the royal families. So it is also called as a royal disease, bleeder's disease or hemophilia. Again, let us look at the genotype of the male and the female individuals. Again, in male, if X capital HY, normal male, normal blood clotting will take place. Female, both H are dominant, normal female. Hemophilic, if the recessive gene is present on the X chromosome, then the male is hemophilic. He is sufferer. He suffers from hemophilia. Female will be hemophilic only if she has the gene in homozygous condition. Both recessive are present on X chromosome, then only she will be hemophilic. Males cannot be carriers, similar to color blindness, and females will be carriers in case of heterozygous condition. This chart is very important, students. You should learn it by heart. Then it becomes very easy to represent. Let us see how hemophilia is also represented by crisscross inheritance. Let us look at the first picture. If we are seeing a marriage between a hemophilic male and this male is marrying a normal female. Hemophilic male means what? X is with small h. Look at that. Normal female. So she is having dominant H on both the X chromosome. What are the gametes form? Here XH, small h. Why? Here both the X are with capital H. Let us look at the offsprings. When X capital H comes with this small h, it is a heterozygote. The daughter is a carrier because she has a dominant gene. So she is not hemophilic but she is a carrier. Similar case, XH, this one, and XH, again the daughter is a carrier daughter. So see how from the father, daughters are becoming carriers But look at the sons, X capital H and Y, this Y and this capital H. So it is a normal son because he luckily got the dominant gene. Another son also, look, X capital H and Y. So again a normal son. So 50% sons are normal, 50% daughter are carrier. What is important? See how from the father the genes are transmitted of hemophilia to the daughters. Now let us look what happens if this carrier daughter, XH, X small h, heterozygote condition, marries a normal man. So this daughter, these carrier daughters are marrying normal man. Normal man means X with capital H and Y. What are the gametes form? X capital H, X small h. Here it will be XH, capital H and Y. Let us look at the offsprings. X capital H and XH, capital H, a normal female because homozygous dominant gene. Look at this, X capital H and Y, normal males 25%. X capital H and small h, carrier females. This is given wrong in the textbook, so change it. X small h and Y. When small h is coming on X, it will be hemophilic male. So look here, who is becoming hemophilic? The sons are becoming hemophilic. So from father to daughters, daughters are carriers. From carrier daughters to the son, son again becomes hemophilic. So crisscross inheritance can be seen in hemophilia. Students, I hope you understood how crisscross inheritance occurs when we are talking about recessive sex-linked genes. We studied two examples, hemophilia and color blindness. Very, very important. Can be even asked for 5-mark question, long question. They can ask you what is hemophilia, what occurs in hemophilia, and show inheritance between this and this case. Anything they can ask, or for color blindness. Now let us start with a very important theory, chromosomal theory of inheritance. Before that, why Mendel's work remained unnoticed till 19th century? I know I'm again going to Mendelism, but we should discuss about why Mendel's work remained unnoticed till 19th century. Mendel's work remained unrecognized till 19th century. He explained his biological concepts using mathematics. See, he was a very intelligent man. He was a systematic man. He not only used the study of biology, he applied the knowledge of mathematics and statistics. But the contemporary scientists which were present in that generation, that era, they did not agree with this. They did not agree ki how maths and stats can be used in biology, right? Then communication was not easy in those days. Nowadays there is internet, there is journals are published, people can communicate within a second with each other. Look at you, you are staying at other place. I am here in Pune and we are connecting so fast with each other. That time it was not so easy. And thus his work couldn't be published. His concept of factors and alleles, they were not accepted. See, nucleus was not founded, chromosomes were not founded, people did not know what is genes and how will they accept? He was saying about factors, something is transmitted from one generation to another generation, and he called this concept as factors. People were not ready to accept his concept of factors. How did Mendel's work got recommended then? So later, though in 1900, 3 scientists, very important, Hugo de Vries, he was from Holland, Karl Correns from Germany and Erich Schmarck from Austria, they rediscovered his work. They were independently working, carrying out their own experiments, and they were shocked to know, oh my God, what great work Mendel has performed. They went through his entire experiments and they really rediscovered and thought Mendel's work is to the mark. Then after that, this person, Hugo de Vries, who was from Holland, he published Mendel's work in a journal called as Flora. During these years, mitosis, meiosis was discovered, chromosomes people knew, and now people realize the great work of Mendel, and therefore Mendel was then called as father of genetics. Now let us see about chromosomal theory of inheritance. Walter Sutton, you can see in the picture, Theodore Boveri and Thomas Hunt Morgan. These are 3 great scientists. First, we will discuss about only Sutton and Boveri. About Morgan, I will teach you in the next lecture. Later, after the discovery of nucleus, chromosomes, Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri in 1902 noted behavior of chromosomes to be parallel to the movement of the genes during meiosis and mitosis. In short, Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri, they presented chromosomal theory of inheritance. They saw that the genes that are present on the chromosomes, they behave similar to the alleles or the factors which Mendel used. So these are the 2 persons who for the first time said, yes, Somewhere there is a correlation between what Mendel is saying and what they observed in chromosome. So the theory proposed by Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri, these two people, it is called as chromosomal theory of inheritance. Let me explain it to you in detail. They said that chromosome like genes occur in pair. Chromosomes also occur in pair. One is paternal, one is maternal, and genes also occur in pair. Of course, Mendel did not use the word genes. He used factors and he called them as alleles. Do you remember allele? Allele is a pair of gene located on homologous chromosomes on the same loci. So they are also in a pair, and chromosomes also occur in a pair. Genes also have specific loci on the chromosome. Yes, they are having a specific location on the chromosome from the centromere. Two alleles of a trait are placed on homologous chromosome. Yes, these two alleles for a trait, for example, capital T, tallness, they are alleles of each other and they are placed on homologous chromosome at a certain distance. Another gene, for example, round shape of the seed. These are allelic pairs located on the same distance on homologous chromosomes. Okay, so this, let us see what is further explained. Sutton and Boveri stated that pairing and separation of pair of chromosome will lead to segregation of a pair and factors they carry. During meiosis, homologous pairs segregate, so alleles are also segregated. I'll explain you with this a chart and how also they show independent assortment. Fertilization will again restore diploidy. Don't worry, we'll see the chart and we'll try to understand. This is about Mendel's factor, this is about chromosome. Mendel's factor were present in pairs, chromosomes are present in pair. Factors segregate, separate while gamete formation. Chromosomes also segregate, separate during meiosis, isn't it? They segregate during meiosis, gamete formation, spermatogenesis, oogenesis. You have studied this in chapter 2. Then factors independently assort to form different types of partners. Chromosomes also independently assort. So what did Sutton and Boveri wanted to show? That the behavior of the chromosome is similar to the behavior of the genes. And this theory, where they say that pair of chromosomes are occurring, they segregate with each other, they have factors or the genes, and after segregation they assort independently. After assorting, haploid gametes are formed, and further again fertilization restores the diploidy. This was proposed by chromosomal theory of inheritance, which showed parallelism to the factors which were explained by Mendel. So I hope you understood chromosomal theory of inheritance. Very good diagram. Again, in short, we'll revise. Chromosomes in pair, segregation and independent assortment. So students, we discussed about crisscross inheritance, which showed in hemophilia and color blindness. One more interesting concept, quickly I'll tell you, that is about straight inheritance, which is shown by Hollandric genes. Where are the Hollandric genes present? They are present on the non-homologous part of Y chromosome. They always show straight inheritance. Example, hypertrichosis. What is hypertrichosis? If a father is having hair on this earlobe, 100% his son also will have hair on the earlobe. Grandson will also have hair on the earlobe. So what is it? It is an example of straight inheritance. That is Hollandric genes, they show straight inheritance. So students, we studied so many important concepts, crisscross inheritance, straight inheritance, and we also studied the chromosomal theory proposed by Sutton and Boveri. Read it from your textbook, revise it, practice the charts of hemophilia and color blindness. I hope you have understood it. Thank you.